Hi everyone, how's it going? So we're now doing it as a movie review, in correspondence to my systematic approach where I'm scoring this, and the movie I decided to do this time was Fifty Shades of Grey. It came in the lines of like overlapping with my me trying to get implication when I was watching Miss Webb. The trailer pulled me in, getting really excited, and and having some bit of disappointment on the submersion was the main protagonist. But overall, I find out that this actress actually does another serialization that was popular at some point during the time, having heard about it and bantering about the film Fifty Shades of Grey. This was a guilty pleasure to a lot of women. So let's get started about the summary of the film. Again, spoilers. This is a movie review. So if you haven't seen this movie and you want to keep the elements of surprise of what you like it or not, I recommend you stop the video and just go and watch your ahead. I'm giving you my own personal bias of how the scoring system and where I felt in terms of my stance and my bias projection of this film review. Okay, so let's get this started. All right, so in this film, I felt that Goddard Johnson was really good, but we're gonna get back to it later. So the storyline plays on the sort of fantasy of two people in a massive, different power dynamic is placed. The opposing cast plays the role of a mysterious person that shows great charisma, long-lasting effect, current stance of the film. She is inevitably drawn in by his social standing and outward appeal of a successful person. Curious is this will turn out for a plot twist, given the implication that this person wants to keep his romantic life a secret. In the movie, it was mentioned that he was gay. Some people rumored about this. Okay, that was obviously as a point of the film I will come across. Very evidently, the romantic interest on how strong a stance of dominance over her. She is drawn in liking the feeling that he controls her. The tools used to display this against suggest a certain amount of arousal from the unknown. She may feel violated in a manner. The onward progression of his events seemed predatory, but still was in a manner that doesn't infringe the law. He immediately pounces on her, realizing that she can own her fully, not being experienced in this manner. And arousal from seeing this person who had already passionately made her feel essential, and discovering more about this person gave her the sense of curiosity and exploratory in territories unknown to her. She is drawn in slowly into his world. Everything he says is completely controlled. She is drawn to want to know more about him. It was already stated that he was successful in the business area. Oh, he was submitted at the start, apparently. This is a bit of a joke because of the way the movie was progressing, but like apparently before that he was submissive and a submissive person and starts a healthy secret to seeing him in his prime. So healthy secrets are subtle but passive attachments to help you in strengthening a relationship with someone. I personally feel they also help make a connection more personal, knowing you know someone's being vulnerable and not be worried they will distance themselves. So after that, the big secret he started by telling her he had also multiple partners, which wasn't the case at all. He actually has a seldom amount, but he plays a lie within a lie. So who knows? Great way of twisting it, if that makes sense, right? So I feel his advancements are at the first time given jolts of excitement as to his partners. The smoothness comes from confidence that he has that, and they want each other in that way. He shows off a lot. She shows off a lot of flexibility he has in terms of resources and being incredibly successful already. This is definitely a very serious relationship implication that there's a contract, and they made her sign a contract to come aboard, but ensure that she was going to be committed with what was going to happen. Having a personal way of communicating for the purpose of what is to come sounds pretty personal too. There's a catch 22 from what he says, and he's about to implore her on her. He says he has few experiences to give her resources of experience she may not feel confident about. And at the same time, he says she is the only one to engage with. Yet he seems confident in what he is doing regardless. The implications are interesting on stimulating a partner. Actually, I think the protagonist is quite clever on the delivery. Yeah, there was no way I was going to go out of my way to definitely watch this on my own bias, except for the pull in from Mrs. Webb, if that makes sense. The interesting perspective on psychological basis based on his history fair to make easier true implication of his rules. I do like the clever, playful words play on their exchanges. It was very intellectual exchanges and really satisfying to see on my perspective, which build up to the arousal, if that makes sense. To check out the problem was your so So the exchange of where I could see is a stance of confidence from control. The graphical scenes help provide jolts of simple movements based on his music, giving it way more to entice sexual advances. Emphasis on the movements is not so much figuring out the male's dominant character, but the fantasy brought out on a woman entering a new form of exploration in a sexual courting approach with something that feels a bit vulgar, at least from my perspective of sexual activity. Violence is depicted in a manner that I'm still gentle, but yet it's still provoking and still is slowly making her into an M, if that makes sense. For the sake of the banter, damn, he's a villain for making her a glutton for punishment. The stimulation is brought out entirely in how much they playfully want each other and how it affects their decisions. The male character depiction seems a bit diluted fantasy from the standard of the real world, but his standards of dominating a woman may feel something that would in sync. It's fun to try to seduce someone. This film is likely mostly a guilty pleasure for women rather than men. If I have to make a fair stance on this, and that's why I think it sense. Subtle tone, since scenes of story is mostly what's driving attention to the film. Quiet, subtle scenes suggest vulnerability with music playing at the right tone to help instill sudden tryings to flesh out subtle scenes that the character feels for feeling jolts of excitement. And this is in lines of a filming technique, using a lot of different senses to stimulate you. The aspect of the main heroine appeal is driven also by the fact that she is desired and sought out by someone of high social standing. The scenes are graphically and intensely violent, but the basis of the purpose of the film, they give a nice jolt that excites the audience that I feel have an intense impact. I think the ending also implores without saying she wants a deeper emotional connection with him, and he seems distance himself from it. It could be related to a trauma he faced was his words of consistency and are smooth and good on the spot, but but what really entices the expensive scenes, despite the movie being sexual gratification, comes in line with the subtle level of romanticism developing in a matter that feels wholeheartedly like both parties wanted to be their desired drive of good portion where I feel the gratification comes from the sexual scenes in the lines of it. So like the build up of arousal and wanting deeper emotional connection is the build up from the sexual scene gratification that it gets expressed in the film. Even if they suggest a vulgar yet prop use of for a softer aftertone, so they were using toys and relations to additional to gratification to excitement, she yearns for him to have his way with her and trust her in that manner. Here's a battle of self that would imply he has a certain derogatory nature. This movie isn't really good at the focus of his vile nature, but does emphasize the Anastasia at the end falling in love with him, with her tolerance of being subjected in such a manner for his gratification. Oh, she retorted. She takes within herself to gravitate the abusive nature of his behavior and realize that this is not worth it, and takes a stance to hold her grounds of evil of six whips, which six whips can do to a person's fragility. A display to show that Dakota. So now let's kind of like Tom Cook in lines of the actress series in herself and her own behavior. A display shows that Dakota is enticed in her role that provokes confidence in the bedroom and is able to spread arousal onto viewers for opportunists trying to show the emphasis of role playing in this film can get a woman just as excited. Seeking submission yet not wanting to the point of being a pleaser, but more in regards of showing vulnerability to someone she feels has strong dominant features. This one wants to be dominated, and she wants to be dominated in a correct way. I also think he didn't say certain things for like an implication of the movie being subtle implication of gay or gray. Sorry, to shit gray. You know what I'm say? Let's switch this on purpose on the speakerphone. And yeah, and this is a movie for a lot of you romantic enthusiasm that wants to seek pleasures, and I could say that this would appeal more to women, as should be evidently obvious in terms of this. So okay, so I've kind of like given you a good plot summary with some bits and bobs here. There's also certain things of stance of thinking of references where I felt the personal projection of the actress talking in talk shows comes alive was the pen gray being on a black marker. But let's just say that was her initial stance of it, because like at the end, all the drawing is probably in a gray color, dark shade or gray color. Sorry. So I like to give this film rating for what for what I take in stance of like how I scored this film for enjoyment and what drives it. It's a lot of sexual gratification, but in a manner that entices role playing being a good portion, and cleverness and intelligence coming down from assets and titles that this person has worked onto himself. This movie easily is 65.38% for my scoring system, which is a solid C, and I do think it was a fun movie, especially for, again, people who are trying to find ways to excite their partners in a bedroom. This gives you a good sense of understanding that the emotional connection that you can build up from taking certain aspects of life quite seriously drives in a good portion of the manic behavior that leads on to their gratification and satisfaction of the blossom of the film, which would have been sex. All right. Thank you very much. This was my movie review for 50 Shades of Grey. All right. So, I see no evil, and we're going to blow up this butt and say, since I can't already see you, bye-bye. Till the next time, I hope you enjoyed this movie review. There's another one coming up, which will be a movie promotion aspects that I'm trying out in relation to cards of this channel, just because of the implication of Easter eggs. But we are going to the point where I think this is going to drop out soon, and we're going to be still making things casually in relation to content, unless you guys want more of it and like having fun enjoyment, me kind of like deploying enjoyment and passion into films and arousal of enjoying cinema. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.
Hey everyone, thank you for putting the effort to watch the effort I placed on making something of an entertaining video. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said before, it's not forced, but like I really would appreciate any contribution and support you give to this channel, as it gives me more motivation and more incentive to enjoy more video creating and content creation. If you find that the content drifts away at any point, you can always unsubscribe. It's no big deal. Again, it doesn't mean much. It doesn't take much from you, but it means a whole bunch of me, and it would feel great if you would just reward my efforts of trying to be positive and contributionary. Thank you so much. Bye.